Page Dramas present Old Tuck Turns Detective. This week's front page drama, Old Tuck Turns Detective, is a dramatization of another in the amazing true-life stories to be found in Tales of the California Gold Trail. This authentic history of the early days of the great California gold rush of '49 enters its fourth installment in next Sunday's American Weekly, well named The Nation's Reading Habit, because it is read by more people than any other publication in the world. Tales of the California Gold Trail is a stirring, colorful history filled with all the drama, comedy, romance, and tragedy of one of the most glamorous periods in the development of our country. The author of this most interesting work is an 81-year-old pioneer, one of the few remaining survivors of those stirring times, Judge J.W. Pitt, who lived in one of the most picturesque camps of Coloma, California. And now to our story, Old Tuck Turns Detective.
Old Tuck put up a little cabin at Rawhide, camp near Jimtown. Nobody knew much about Old Tuck. He attended to his business and expected you to do the same, with no questions asked. He was tall, 6'2", a wiry, sinewy fellow with a pair of the clearest blue eyes you ever saw peering out at you. Well, from a lean face, it was pretty near hidden behind a shaggy, sandy beard. His eyes could twinkle a smile at you or freeze you in your tracks with an icy glare, depending on the place. Talked with a southern drawl that he couldn't disguise. Somebody said he was from Kentucky. Well, they hung the name of Old Tuck on him, and the answer to it never was known by anything else. He had a claim at Rawhide that he worked some, but he didn't seem to care much about getting a lot of gold. Didn't take much to the hard manual labor of digging. He spent most of his time sitting in poker games around Jimtown. Well, sir, late one afternoon, a very pretty young woman got off the stagecoach to Jimtown. She was well-dressed, had all the looks of a lady of refinement. It was plain to see she was sure befuddled by her strange surroundings, and a little frightened at the loud voices and clatter of glasses from the nearby whiskey mill. Old Tuck had just stepped out of a saloon, and seeing the new arrival needed some help, he crossed over to her, pulled off his old felt hat, bowed very politely, and said, "Good evening, ma'am. Can I help you?"
Oh.
Now, don't be scared, ma'am. I'm not as bad as I look. Well, you're aiming to meet somebody?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to find my husband.
Is he in Jimtown? Is he looking for you?
No, he's not expecting to see me. I don't even know where he is. Except he started out for the gold camp. I got off here because my money ran out. I didn't have fare to ride further.
Now, ma'am, don't you worry. Maybe I know your man. What's his name?
I believe I can talk to you. I have to confide in somebody. My husband's name is James Hallett.
Hallett? James Hallett?
Yes.
Don't recollect the name. What's he look like? You know, names don't mean much hereabouts.
No, I know. I guess I might as well tell you the whole story. My husband's a fugitive. He was a bookkeeper and cashier in a mercantile establishment run by two partners back in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. Soon after Jim and I were married, they discovered a shortage of nearly $3,000 in the account. They accused Jim, said he'd stolen the money to set up housekeeping. I didn't believe it. I knew Jim couldn't do such a thing. But the money was gone, and the evidence was all against him. Well, he disappeared one night. I didn't know what had happened to him until I received a note from Independence, Missouri. He was on his way to California.
We'll find Jim for you, ma'am. Now, just you...
Wait. I haven't finished. You must know the rest. A few weeks after Jim ran away, one of the partners shot and killed himself. He left a note clearing Jim. The partner stole the money from the firm to meet his gambling losses. I guess he thought he could blame Jim to square himself with his partner. But after Jim left, his conscience got to bothering him too much to go on. Now you know why I started right out for California to find my husband. What do you think I should do?
I've just been thinking, and I got that all figured out. There ain't no respectable place for a lady to put up here in Jimtown. So you're going with me to my cabin up the road between here and Rawhide.
Oh, but
Now, don't you fret a bit, man. You'll be all right. You can't tell it by looking at me, but I've been a gentleman in my time. I know and respect the lady when I see one. You just come along. I guess old Tuck must have convinced her it meant no harm. Anyhow, the two of them started out just as dark was settling over the mountain. They all made a funny-looking pair tramping along together. The tall, gangling Kentuckian and the dainty lady, picking her steps and trying to hold her skirts out of the dirt. At the cabin, old Tuck fixed supper. Nothing much, salt pork and beans, but it was the best he had. Well, there wasn't much talk while they ate. Mrs. Hallett probably wasn't quite sure yet she could trust her strange host. After they'd eaten, old Tuck got up and picked up his hat and ambled over to the door. I'm a-going away for a spell, and this cabin's yours. There's a right smart supply of grub, such as it is, and there's a wood pile right outside the door, and you'll be all right. Won't nobody touch you in my cabin.
But I can't do that. What will you do?
Ma'am, I'm going to find that gem for you all. It certainly ain't using his right name, and except for different sizes, most all of us fellows look about alike. Is there any mark or habit you've got so I can tell him when I see him?
Yes. I think there's one way you can recognize him.
Yeah?
When we were married, I gave him a cameo ring. It opens up and has a little picture of me in it. Jim promised he'd wear it always.
Well, that'll be all right. I'll find him, ma'am. In the meanwhile, you all just rest easy. Old Tuck saddled his horse and started out making the rounds of the saloons, gambling houses, and cabins all around Rawhide and Jimtown. And then he hit the longer trail. Day after day, old Tuck rode the trails from one camp to the other. Everyone and everything come under the glance of his piercing eyes. Nobody knew a man named Hallett. Nobody was wearing the cameo ring. And then one night he rode into the diggings at Whiskey Slide, put up his horse for the night, and then strolled into the camp's busiest saloon, whose proprietress greeted him with,
Well, I'll be darned if it ain't old Tuck.
Howdy, Peggy.
Come on in and have one on the house.
Oh, I don't care for
Good to see you. What you all doing so far away from home? They run you out of Rawhide?
Well, you sure got a busy place here. You must be doing well. Oh, I'll take a little whiskey, please, ma'am.
How you doing, old Tuck? What brings you over to these diggings?
Well, I tell you, I'm looking for a fella named Hallett. He wears a fairly big cameo ring on one of his fingers.
What for? You hunt gold. My men out here, you know. Hallett, did you say?
Huh?
Hallett. No. Ain't heard that name. Have a drink and look around, but don't get too close. Boys are kind of funny about folks looking at their hands.
Well, many thanks for the drink, Peg. I'll amble over and look over the boys.
Right, you are, Tuck. See you later. There's a good game down at the end table if you feel like sitting in.
Come on, zero, Sarge. Don't be so slow about it.
Yeah, I've been having tough luck. Well, that's all for me, Mac. I'm clean and through for the night. Yeah, stranger on my chair. They ain't very lucky.
Well, much obliged. I reckon I'll sit in if you all don't mind. Here's my polka dust.
Oh, welcome, stranger. You're just in time. Hey, John.
Yeah?
Bring on another round of drinks and hurry up.
Okay, boss.
The man the players called Mac was wearing a ring. The very ring old Tuck had ridden nearly 200 miles to find. The man they called Mac was playing a reckless game. And it wasn't long before he was losing steadily. Now, old Tuck was a cagey hand in a poker game, and the pot started coming his way. The other players started pulling in their horns. But the one man old Tuck was watching got more careless. He tried to buck his luck with the cards running against him. The last of the man's money was gone when it came old Tuck's turn to deal. But old Tuck pretended to ignore that and dealt him a hand anyhow.
I'm out.
I'll take one card.
There it is, Nick.
One for me, I'm out.
I'll take one myself. I'll check. How about 50? I'll call. Sorry, Nick. You'll have to cover the bet if you want to see the hand.
I haven't the money to do it. I'm clean.
Well, you took the hand, Nick. If you're out of dust, then put that ring in the pot.
All right, stranger. Yeah. Now, how's my flush? Ace high.
Not quite good enough, Nick. It's full house to be. Well, now, that's quite a ring. Why, it opens up, too. That picture. Why, well, I reckon you're Jim Hallett, ain't you? Well, son, I got some news for you. What happened there? Hold on, boys. Hold on, boys. Quiet. Bring him here beside me. Don't hurt him. No, it's all right. Don't hurt him. I'm sorry to done that, son. But I reckon it caught my fault. I didn't count on that last play of yours. What I was aiming to tell you is this. Your wife are waiting for you at my cabin, Rawhide. She says you've been cleared. I told her I'd find you for her. You see, I'm out here for the same reason you are. The law's on my trail, too. I killed a man over my wife. I thought I was right, but the law said I was wrong. You go find Mrs. Hallett's son, and good luck to you.
The word comes slowly. An instant later, old Tuck was dead. Right or wrong, we always figured he checked in with a clean slate.
You have just heard the front page drama entitled Old Tuck Turns Detective, a dramatization of one in a series of authentic stories of the California gold rush of '49. These thrilling, romantic, and colorful stories are part of the history of the discovery of gold in California, entitled Tales of the California Gold Trail, written by Judge J.W. Pitt, 81-year-old pioneer, and one of the few remaining survivors of the old 49ers. Don't miss this splendid historical feature in next Sunday's issue of the American Weekly, the magazine that is read by more people than any other publication in the world. The American Weekly is the nation's reading habit and comes to you each week as part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Front Page Dramas present Engine Company Number 1. This week's Front Page drama, Engine Company Number 1, is a dramatization of another in the amazing true life stories to be found in Tales of the California Gold Trail. This authentic history of the early days of the great California gold rush of